What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tone Talk with Mark and Dave. It's Punish Dave with questions number 25. I think we've only done like 2 or 3 of these as Punish Dave. They used to be Ask Dave, but
that's fine. We'll call it whatever.
yeah, whatever.
We can call it whatever.
Throw questions.
I get punished all the time, so it's fine.
It's an all-day thing. Well,
I hope
everybody's doing good. It's been a long week. I am not drinking anything tonight except for water.
Me too. Water.
Oh yeah, yeah. No alcohol tonight. But oh God, it was a long week. So let's see. We're gonna jump into questions soon. I wanted to ask you off the bat, Dave. I saw that there was like some kind of leak today online.
We had a big conference about this today.
Did you want to address that at all?
Yeah, we can address it actually. Okay. Yes. It's not fake. It is real. And there.
Oh wow.
There it is.
The IRD.
So since it got leaked anyway, might as well talk about it. So the IRD is essentially it's a twin sister in a box in the the IR family format, so to speak. So it literally is a twin sister in 2 identical channels, same exact thing as a twin sister amp. We couldn't call it an IRT though because Laney has IRT amps. So, but since that came from the Dirty Shirley, it's an IRD.
So IRTS wouldn't have worked, I guess.
Then it looks weird.
Oh, I see. Okay.
When you start naming things and doing stuff in series of stuff, it's like you got IRTS. It doesn't ring right.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So, but I mean, the twin sister is a Dirty Shirley. It just has an extra switch on it. So that's, people know what that family is, so I don't know. I mean, it's, 3 IRs, I'll switch this identical channels to a twin sister. Other than that, same format as the IRX. So everything's basically the same, has boosts, which a twin sister doesn't have. So you can boost it if you'd like. With a separate master. So, it's the same format. It's just a different guts. So it sounds glorious too. It sounds really good.
Wow. Okay. What's the
Mark's like, oh God, now I got to get some.
I know. I'll have 2 of, the IRX right here and I'll get the other one. Are you going to do a limited run of like kind of the short,
There is a limited run of a different cosmetic kind of thing, knobs and faceplate's a little different. I don't have one here to say that, but yes, there's going to be that same signed limited 100 of them or something.
Awesome. So when's the anticipated date?
Technically the launch, and someone really jumped the gun there. Technically the launch is it will be available at stores and for sale April 25th.
Wow, they really jumped the gun.
Yeah, I don't even know how that happened, but anyway, things happen. Wow. They really jumped the gun, but really April 25th is really just like it's going to be a blink of an eye, and it'll be April 25th.
Right. But I'm sure you were planning on doing a nice little
and then
release.
we're of course, and then we were talking about moving the release up a little bit, but it's like it's too much. There's too much marketing material and videos that have to be shot, and too much stuff to be able to move it up any further. I mean, it just takes a minute, to get all together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, wild. Okay, cool.
So that's the scoop, people. That's the scoop.
Wow. So that's an expansion on that. So I wonder if they're going to end up doing like IR.
We'll see now, won't we? What else comes about?
Cool. All right. Well, we're going to jump into questions here. Any chance to get Paul Reed Smith on the show? So let me tell you a story.
Let me tell you a story.
Dave and I went to Sweetwater. No, it was the Sweetwater Gear Fest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Paul Reese was there, and I saw him in passing. He was on the phone with somebody, a cell phone, and I kind of waited politely off to the side while he was on the phone. I wasn't next to him, but I waited politely, kind of off the side, waited for him to get off the phone, and then I walked up to him and introduced myself and said that I'm partners with you, and that we'd love to have him on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, and it was very, very. He starts walking as we're talking, right? So now he's walking as he's talking with me, and he's like, all right, you'll need the email, blah 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 blah, and I don't even have a pen or anything, right? So now I'm like, oh my god, I got to remember what he's saying about this email address, and he's like, email this person, and we can set it up. So, and then at the very end, I said to him, I said, in jest, I said, it would be really awesome if you could release. He's like walking into the booth. I said, it'd be really awesome if you could release a Lefty Silver Sky. And he goes, never gonna. He said, it's either he's like, never gonna fucking happen, or no chance in hell, or something like that. And I was like, okay. And then I remembered the email address, and I reached out to them several times, and they never responded. So,
yeah, I might be able to go about that through a different way, maybe.
If you know somebody, yeah,
I may be able to reach out through Tim Pierce, maybe.
Oh,
maybe.
See, you're thinking
that might be possible.
Yeah, Tim obviously is very close with them.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I don't know. Might be able to. We'll see.
You never know. Yeah, I mean, I was like shocked. I mean, but I know Paul's not like really big on Lefty guitars.
Yeah, I mean, I guess not. I don't know.
No, he's got a thing about it. I definitely I've heard.
You should learn to play right-handed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Probably at this stage in your life, you're like, yeah, I probably should have.
Well, you know what? The truth is, I really should have. I should have, but it just felt too natural for me. But yes, probably more. And I'm always the odd man out. People come to my house. There's no guitar for them to play. It's like, it's kind of a bummer.
You must need to have a righty there just to have.
I was going to do that. I was planning on doing that before you came, and I just never had a chance. Remember, when you came to the house, I was like, oh, it'd be good to have a guitar when Dave comes over, but never had a chance.
I know, right? I don't want to see any guitar.
You know what? It's funny. I thought to myself, I'm like, yeah, I don't think Dave's going to be interested in playing any guitars when he's on vacation. So,
yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, it gets old after a while.
Oh, it's funny. I was joking with Vinny when you came over. I said, yeah, I'm going to get Dave and bring him in my room over here with all my stuff and put him to work. See if I've got my stuff set up or correctly.
You could have.
I would have never done that to you. I definitely would have not. I mean, when you walked in, you immediately were like, "No, you got to move that speaker over here."
So, yeah, that's true.
You couldn't help yourself anyway.
That's true.
We got a question here. Is there any improvement in tone when using a battery power supply for pedals?
Okay, well, there is difference in tone between power supplies. There can be with some pedals. But even with power supplies, so like, shall we say a linear power supply, like the older Voodoo Lab pedal powers, sound considerably different than a lot of the newer switching power supplies. I find the newer switching power supplies actually sound better and more like a battery than, say, the linear Voodoo Lab power supply. So yes, there's some differences. Not as much these days with the more switching power supplies like the Friedman power supply or the Strymon or the Chalks or like all those that are.
When you say switching, what do you mean switching?
Switching power supplies uses a different technology. It's not like a big heavy transformer. It's switch mode power supplies, technically what they're called. And it's not like the traditional way of doing it. It's a different way of doing it. They're all lighter, they weigh nothing, and if not done right, they're horrible. But all the ones I mentioned are all good,
Right. I mean, if you're like going on Amazon and trying to buy it.
Yeah, don't buy something cheap. Don't do that, because you don't know what you're getting. It's isolated. No, it's not. So
interesting. Okay. I never knew that.
Yeah.
By the way, I have a new guitar story. So
a new guitar story?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I might as well share. I'm in a talkative mood tonight. By the way. Ken Johnson. I want to say thanks to Ken Johnson on Facebook. See, this is the dangerous part about having this. I was about to call it a job, having this role on this show, because people message you and they're like, "Hey, I'm in the Sam Ash in Atlanta, and they've got a lefty EVH Stealth for sale, and the price is great because they're closing up the store." And I'm like, "Oh no."
Oh no.
Right. I was with April, and he texted me that, and I'm like, "Oh shit." And I looked at the price, and it was under retail what they sell for.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no. So I called the store and talked to the guy, and lo and behold, yeah. And Ken was actually in the store. I heard him as I was on the phone with the salesperson. He's like, "Hey, Uzansky." So I ended up buying the EVH Stealth.
Oh boy.
Not a USA. It's a Stealth special.
Cool.
So, Mexico, I think, or something.
Yeah.
I haven't owned a Stealth, so I'm happy with that. So
now you got it.
Yeah, it's supposed to come on Sunday. So I'm looking forward to that. Yo, Michael Nielsen. Catching it live again.
Hello.
I see Michael's been doing some live videos. You guys check out his channel.
Yes, go subscribe to Michael also. But hey, while you're at it, make sure you're subscribed to us.
Yes. Absolutely. All 235 of you. Make sure you subscribe.
Yeah. Come on, people.
Oh, and let's talk about our sponsors.
Of course.
So not only should you press subscribe and click the bell, I'll put a little banners here. Check out Sweetwater in the link we provide below. Okay. Sweetwater is we have an affiliate link, they call it. And basically anything you buy from them, we get a little kickback from that. It doesn't cost you anything extra. Sweetwater is an awesome company. And also check out fixpedalboards.com.
For all your pedalboard accessory needs.
Yeah, actually
sliding rack shelves or little lifts or brackets or bridges or hingeable bridges or angled hingeable bridges. Oh, junction boxes too. You got pedalboard junction boxes that are great.
Wow. Okay.
You got all sorts of stuff on there.
Yep. Well, I was going to mention the guy's name, but I don't have the email anymore. But there was someone who sent us an email during the week that they bought some stuff from Fixed Pedal Boards.
Yes, some little lifts and different things. Yep.
That was a nice email. Thank you. And then also check out Thomann.com for folks in Europe. Okay. I don't think anybody's bought anything from Thomann from that link. I haven't checked it in a while, but based on the last time that I checked, there was no one buying anything there. But anyway, okay. I think we've got some questions. Here's a super chat. Jose G, what's up, man? Thank you. Hey, Mark and Dave. Great shirt, Mark. Oh, thanks. Dave, in the past, you've spoken about attenuators, Variac, Rivera, etc. Do you have an opinion on Tone King with their built-in attenuator amps like the Royalist Mark III?
The attenuator in the Tone King works really well. I mean, that Royalist Mark III works killer. I think it sounds good. I mean, I think it sounds as good as any of them out there. Variac is sort of a different thing. It's not really an attenuator. It's a kind of a load and reamping kind of device. So you have loops and stuff. It's a little different. but the Tone King attenuators, like in the Royalist Mark II, 3, I'm sorry, it's great. Yeah, that's a cool amp, actually.
Yeah, I hear they make some great stuff. I've never actually
the Rivera Rock Crusher. It's been around a long time. Actually, works really well with at least Marshall style amps. Works really well. You just need to knock it down several dB. You know, it's really good.
Did you see that who came out with a new attenuator? Did you see that?
Palmer.
Palmer. Yeah.
All analog.
What do you think of that?
I played with it a little bit, actually.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, one happened through here. The attenuation part seemed to work really well. I mean, it worked pretty well. I mean, it's got a lot of little doodads and gizmos on it that I don't know how I feel about just all analog and all, that, but it was well made. It was definitely a nice product. It was bitchin' looking. Looked great.
Yeah. It's big though.
Yeah. It's cool. It's big. It's heavy. Yeah. It's sure.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I also saw recently I saw a Faustine.
Oh yeah.
Sale on Reverb.
I have one. How much was it going for?
It was like $750, I think.
Oh, okay. That's not. Yeah, I have one on my shelf here.
I hear they're great too.
They were great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Super cool. Scotty Phoenix. Guys, love the show. Thank you. Dave, curious about the switch to the red back and the small box combo. P.S. If you've seen a purple small box combo come down the line recently, I'm hoping it's mine and will be coming home soon.
The funny thing is I have I see the amp chassis. I almost never actually see the final product. So, yeah. Why did we use the red back in the combos? Well, I think it sounds better first off, but people would blow the greenbacks wouldn't hold up. People would blow them up reasonably easy, and so it really wasn't working. And in turn, I wanted something that would work, so the 150 watt speaker worked well, and it sounds great. It sounds a little fuller in the mids, and it in an open back cabinet. An open back cabinet generally sounds kind of scooped. It's kind of big in the bass and bright and kind of scooped in the middle. This speaker sounds really solid in the middle, and the highs are a little more rolled off, so it doesn't sound as bright in the open back combo, and it just really works well in an open back cab. I think it sounds awesome
for an open back cab.
I think it sounds awesome for a lot of things, but it's a great speaker.
And it's like what, a 200 watt speaker or something?
150 watt speaker.
Okay. Yeah, you're not.
But it sounds very much like a greenback style speaker, kind of, sort of, a little tougher.
Tougher and like, what do you mean?
Well, it has the character of a greenback, but maybe with a little more punch and oomph.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. That's cool. Jason Shreds. Thank you, man. Hey guys, love the show. Long-time listener, Dave. I want to try using my Mr. Scary hot mod in my SS 100 watt V2. Wow, that's a lot of gain. I think it goes into the V2 or V3 slot.
V3.
Okay.
So third tube from the left on the back. But man, that's a lot of fucking gain. Really?
Well, I guess it depends on where you're putting it, but if you're putting it with like the highest gain setting on the amp and then you're throwing that sucker in, wow.
I mean, okay, just go for it. It'll work.
You're not gonna fry anything, right?
No, you're not gonna fry anything. Everything's good. It uses the standard wired one, not the reverse wired one. So go for it.
That's cool.
E3, third one over from the left, in the back.
All right. Ian Ferguson. Thank you. Dave, why does your power supply not have a 12 volt output?
Are you referring to the fact the IRX does 12 volts? Well, it also does 9 volts. Well, because at the time we developed that, which was years ago now, we didn't really, not that many things were 12 volt out there. It wasn't a common thing. So that's why.
So it's become more prominent. 12
volt? Yeah, not tons more prominent, to be honest. Few things are 12, but a lot of things you can run on 9. So like for instance, I think the original Eventide H9 said 12 volt on them, but you could run them on 9. There's several things that say 12, but you can run them on 9. And IRX, you just use a current doubling cable and use 2 of the outputs, and then there's enough current and everything for IRX. Right. And there's no difference in performance if you use 12 or 9. Makes zero difference whatsoever, because it's going right into a switching power supply anyway in there that puts out all the proper voltages, so it's not reliant on what's coming in.
What happens if you put like 18 in it?
Smoke. It might work up to 18, but let's not try that.
Okay.
I had one guy that put 24 volts into his, and yes, smoke.
Oh.
Yeah.
24 volts.
Yeah.
How did he get up to that?
It was an accident. I don't know what he did, but
oops.
So now I gotta fix that, hopefully.
John Wayne, what's going on, man? Thanks for the super chat. I punished Dave pretty good this week as I've been trying to figure my first wet, dry, wet rig. Thanks, Dave. Mark, you're the man, but also need punishment. What are your top 3 VH songs? Okay.
Oh, that's tough.
Well, I'm going to go with Light Up the Sky.
That's a good one.
I'm going to go with Out of Love Again.
Good one too.
And I'll probably go with, oh man, oh shit, maybe. Oh, I'm trying to think of the last. Well, it might be Top Jimmy too. Yeah, Top Jimmy.
As I say, it's a tough one.
That's a tough one, yeah. But the last one is really hard. But I definitely Out of Love Again and Light Up the Sky. Both those songs like get me going. Really, like I can listen to those 2 songs over and over and over again.
Yeah.
The groove on Out of Love Again is just amazing. And Light Up the Sky is just amazing too. The playing on that is just insane.
Yeah, those are good ones. I mean, I like a lot of stuff off 2, you know. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yep. Love the band. I love them. I actually posted this week a picture of me meeting Michael Anthony.
I saw that.
Yeah, it was at NAMM at the PV signing booth that he did. He hasn't done that in the past few years, but probably due to COVID and everything. But what a really nice guy. Super cool. Like that was like meeting a hero for sure.
He's nice.
DSL, what's going on, man? Thanks for the super chat. Hey guys, big fan of Tone Talk. Dave, do you use the same resistors on your entire circuit board, carbon, film, etc., or do you use different types in different places? And why?
Most of the resistors are carbon film resistors, except for the B plus resistors, which are the high voltage main dropping resistors, which are technically most of the time are Vishay PR0 series metal film resistors, actually, in 3-watt size, or 2-watt size, depending on the amp. Yeah, I mean, carbon resistors, some people do that. It sounds better here or there, the carbon resistors kind of sound furry and dark to me, and they're a little weird sounding to me sometimes, so I don't tend to use those. And also, they can be noisy depending on and not stable, and so they're not really good to use. And I've never really gotten into using all like metal film resistors and stuff like that. I don't. Some of them would probably be fine to do that, but I just have always built with carbon film. Generally 1 watt. Some amps have half watts in them also.
Okay.
That's I just kind of went with what, some of the amps from yesteryear were all carbon film, resistors and stuff. Of course, they don't quite make resistors like they used to, but they're fine.
Gotcha. Okay. Hey, there was one thing I wanted to address before we dive into other questions. So our last show, we had Jim Seaval from Scumbag. Okay. And there was a comment. We ended the show after about an hour and 45 minutes. And I hope you don't mind me bringing this up, Dave.
No problem.
So we ended the show after an hour and 45 minutes. Yeah, I was a little tired, but I also had to go because my wife had shoulder surgery, or not. She had a procedure done on her shoulder, and she could barely use her arm. So I wanted to go help her. So it was definitely nothing against Jim at all. I didn't end the show early because of anything with Jim. And then someone like got so pissed off about it that ended up writing Dave like, you need to get rid of Mark. The guy's always tired. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, people are unbelievable. So, I'm not going to go on a rant about it, but I was just like, wow. So, what I mean to say by saying this is that, Jim, I meant no disrespect to you whatsoever by ending the show. I might have seemed abrupt, but if you're listening, and I wrote him this too, but I just wanted to say it out loud that, he's welcome to come back on part 2. We're hoping to have him.
Yeah. Sorry. And I'm going to butt in here, but most of the time we've been trying to keep the shows to 2 hours anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that we really ended that early. It was just that it was time to the show to end. Really, I mean, that's the time frame we're trying to keep. Instead of doing like maybe on a special occasion, maybe we'll do something really long again if it warrants it. But most of the time, we try to keep it to 2 hours, which is reasonable, I think, for everyone. We don't. I mean, you guys have to understand that this show wouldn't exist without Mark. Okay. Wouldn't exist without him doing all that he does for the show. So, it's that's the truth. That's the way it is.
Well, I appreciate.
I'm busy, and that's how this show started. I'm like, well, we can do this if you're willing to do this part of it.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I can't. I don't have the bandwidth. So,
and I barely have the bandwidth. Quite honestly, that's the thing. It's not like I am sitting around, like not having, I literally work a full-time, probably a 50, 60-hour week also, you know, and then it comes to doing the show, and I'm just, hey, it's a Friday night, end of the week. Sometimes I'm tired, and I'll try to pull through, but so Jim, looking forward to having you back. Also, we'll get your camera sorted out. So anyway, I just wanted to say that.
I don't think there was any problem with Jim. I mean,
no, he was totally cool. Yeah. But there were comments that people made, like they were like, "Oh, Mark, ended the show like a boss. Cut Jim off." I'm like, I did not do that. I did not mean to do that. So
yeah.
So anyway, okay. Tim L. Dave, thanks for your help today with troubleshooting my JJ Jr. and its treble cap.
I'm sorry you blew it up.
Oh man.
He replaced it, but then did something wrong, and well,
now he has to send it back.
Now he gets to send it to me.
Oh,
I did see your email. I haven't answered you yet on your email, but I will.
All right.
So
good luck with that.
Things happen. I'm sure it's fixable. So
yeah,
everything's fixable.
Steph Ledger. I think I said that right. Thanks for the super chat. Hey, Dave and Mark, I'm new to your channel. I love your show. Wealth of valuable information. Thanks. Question: is there a correct order for turning on a JCM 800 and a Fryette PS2?
You should probably turn the Fryette. I mean, realistically, you should probably turn the Fryette on first, then take the Fryette off of standby, because that puts it in bypass mode. And then turn, I mean, you don't have to do it this way, and then turn the JCM 800 on. Or you could turn the JCM 800 on, and that's fine because it's going to the cabinet anyway through the Fryette. And then turn the power on the Fryette and then turn the standby. That doesn't really matter, to be honest.
Okay. Cool.
You can flip them all on at once if you want.
Might put it all on one strip and just flip it on.
Could.
Okay.
Yeah.
JF. Thanks by the way, do modelers simulate an entire circuit, components and voltages, or do they simulate sample sounds or sonic waves measured under use of an analog source? Curious how they really work.
Well, that would sort of depend. Like Fractal, for instance, they call it component level modeling. So they're actually taking into account voltages. That's why you can actually change the bias of your amp in a Fractal or something, the crazy stuff like transformer slew rate and different things that you probably shouldn't be messing with anyway. And then there's other modelers that are modelers, but a lot of them have done component level sort of modeling. But other ones are kind of captures, more like captures of things. You know what? I don't know what all goes into it exactly.
That's a whole area that we have barely touched on this show.
Yeah. That's because I don't think you should be using them.
Right. we've never had a modeler guest on. We've never had like Line 6 on, or
it might be interesting. We could.
Yeah.
Actually, Cliff from Fractal might be kind of cool to have on. Huh. That's an interesting thought.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole other area that we have not had anybody.
Or neural or something.
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, right. A bad idea.
Yeah, thanks, JF. You sparked a good idea. Fryette, what's going on?
Hey,
you didn't have to send a super chat. You could have just texted me. Hey, or Dave. Hey, Dave, I have a new toy ready for you, but it's still a secret, so you can't tell anyone. Should I ship it? Ooh.
Or if I'm here on Saturdays generally, Stevie. So if you wanted to drop it by, you could.
So
you're not that far. Your house isn't that far. I know your new shop's kind of far.
I need to reach out to Steve. I need to buy another power station because I'm getting when I sold my whole setup, I sold the other one, but I'm going to get another one. So Steve, if there's any way that I can please get another power station from you, I'll be in touch. So,
yeah, I guess you're going to need that.
Yes, I'm going to need it. So, and now I'm totally like curious what the hell Steve has up his sleeve.
Can't say. Can't say.
All right. Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Fryette amps, you guys check out the Malcontents. All right, check out their show. They haven't done a show in a while, have they?
I don't know.
I haven't seen one, in recently, or maybe they did one recently, but there was a break for a little while. I guess maybe when he was moving his shop.
Probably, yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. So, but check out the Malcontents, which is Steve Fryette stuff. Luke Wilson, what's going on, man? Thank you. Dave, do you know if the Marshall SV20 is really 20 watts? it has a pair of EL34s, which usually means 40 to 50 watts. Or is it 20 watts but behaving like a Variac amp? It's loud.
No, it's 20 watts. It just has lower voltages, so the tubes are sort of neutered, so to speak.
Interesting.
And it's also cathode bias, so that also reduces the power. Lower voltages and cathode biasing.
Interesting. Okay. So I have to tell a cute story. So a coworker that I work with, her son, she posted a video on Facebook. We're friends on Facebook. Her son is named Preston, and I think he's 8, maybe he's younger, and he's playing at the School of Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And he's playing guitar, and he's doing "And the Cradle Will Rock" by Van Halen.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a mohawk. He's like 6 or maybe 6, 7 or 8, and he's got a purple mohawk. They let him have a mohawk, which is totally cool. And anyway, so he's huge into guitar. He loves Van Halen, and so I sent him a Boss DS1, distortion pedal, and some cables, and our card, and some picks, and I sent him a little care package this week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was. And so she wrote me, and she's like, he's jamming on and the cradle will rock, and she's like, and he didn't know that you could have pedals at home because he only thought you could have them at the School of Rock. So I was like, that is so cute. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I love little kids playing guitar. So all right, so I went through all the super chats. Let me dive into some of our regular questions here. Let's see. Hey, Dave, on the BE100 Deluxe, is the middle position of the frequency switch just a bypass?
No, it's just a different value of the capacitor that is in the thump circuit. So the middle would... in the future, I might take that off, the middle one. The middle one is much more into the mid range when you're boosting that, when you're using the thump. And the one to the right is more of the most common one, and the one to the left is a little deeper sounding. So no, it's not a bypass.
Okay.
If it was a bypass, that whole knob wouldn't work.
Right.
Or, well, it would work, but in a totally different way.
Gotcha. Favorite clean tube amp or channel for low volume home practice under 3,000? That's a big budget for a low volume home practice.
Man, you could probably get, to be honest, you could go way cheaper with clean, huh? Hang on, let me look something up real quick.
I was thinking of that Wampler amp, the Bravado.
No, I'm thinking no, like for practice and stuff. I'm thinking there's a Fender. Why am I keep wanting to say Blues Junior, but it's not a Blues Junior. It's a Fender
Pro Junior. Was it the
Pro Junior? Fender Pro Juniors are cool sounding.
Yeah.
And a cool clean platform, real simple, and you could use some pedals into it. It'll sound great. That's way under $3,000.
Oh yeah, you save some money.
Yeah,
you could buy a guitar on the side.
A good expensive one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're like, I don't know, they're retail $650 or something.
Yeah, they're good amps.
Yeah, they sound cool.
Tellyman, am I okay if I run any guitar into the front of my Pink Taco V2 without effects? Should I get my brain checked?
Yeah, you can plug any guitar or any instrument almost into the Pink Taco V2 if you'd like.
Yeah, Yeah, without any effects, absolutely.
Sure.
Go straight in.
Why not?
Yeah. I bought a Tone King 2 100-watt attenuator and played it with a Germino Club 40 last night. It sounded fantastic.
Well, there you go. See?
Yeah, I hear those are good.
Yeah, they're good.
So next release, twin sister synergy module, right?
I can tell you for a fact that that is nowhere in the short distance from now. So, in fact, there's zero plans for that at the moment. Not to say that it might not be done eventually, but
I mean, the Dirty Shirley module is pretty much a twin sister.
Well, sort of. You just don't have 2 EQs, and you don't have the extra switches either. So,
true.
Yeah.
Right. Is that true? Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course you would know, but why am I arguing with you?
Why would I know?
Stephen Douglas, speaking of Tone King, should have Mark Bartell on the show. I don't know him.
Sure. We could probably. Sure. He has Bartell amps too now.
Which would you recommend running 4-cable method with Synergy Syn 2, Rocktron IntelliFX, or Lexicon MPXG2, and why?
Well, the Rocktron IntelliFX really isn't designed to run 4-cable method, so that's a no. MPXG2 is and totally designed for that. If you can find one that's working still, or if you can figure out how to program it. 2 things that are rather difficult in that unit. So, but it was great for the time. It sounds amazing.
Okay. We should have Henning Pauly on the show to punish Dave. I saw that video.
I already get punished enough by him.
I have to ask, were you a little lit during that video?
No, I don't think I was during that one. No. Okay. I don't know what time of day that was. Maybe I was. Who knows? No, but it was a game. It was a game. You know what I mean? It was like all a game,
I know. But I just was like, oh, I don't know if maybe Dave was drinking before that.
No, it was a game. We were like, he's like, okay, I'm going to ask you about this stuff, and you're going to, and I go, I know what to do.
That's funny. That was funny.
It's an amp.
He's a nut.
It's an amp.
Yep. What does it do? I don't know.
I don't know. It has pretty lights.
He's a nutcase, Henning.
Well, we always do videos like that.
Yeah.
And no, for people, he doesn't annoy me. I like Henning. We always do funny things like that. For fuck's sake, I did a video at his place once, and we duct taped him to his chair.
And his mouth.
And he couldn't. So
he's a good sport. He likes doing that stuff.
Likes doing stupid stuff.
Yep. On the rocks. Hey Dave, can we talk about Variac switching and amps? I'm told the approach taken in the Dual Rex is hard on the amp. Why is that? How is the Variac achieved in the new Friedman vintage?
The same way it does in the Dual Rec. It's literally like a real Variac. So it's a tap on the power transformer that's drops 30 volts. So in reality, like, if it's at 120, and then it's like a 150 volt tap. So if you only feed it 120, then it's like a 30 volt drop. Variacs aren't hard on tubes. It's a bunch of bullshit. This is like wives' tales. It's not hard on the tubes at all. It's fine. It's if anything, it probably saves the tubes. Yeah. So that's not a proven thing.
Unless you're going to 130 volts or 140 volts.
Well, yeah, you can melt your tubes if you go up.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want to necessarily do that. You could also do a lot of other damage, but yeah, going down is not going to do anything.
Okay.
You have to think too that wall voltages fluctuate wildly, all over the world and stuff, and these amps are sort of designed to be able to take that.
Why does the wall voltage, like I will see throughout the day, it'll vary by like 5 volts throughout the day?
Some places it's like that, not other places. I mean, like at my shop here where I'm at, my wall voltage is like 117, 118, which is what it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
All the time. It never varies whatsoever. It has to do with how much draw on the power grid, how what kind of condition the power grid is in, things like that. As far as I understand,
I can see it. I mean, well, first of all, I have a brown box, so I track the voltage, and I see it all day because this is where I sit when I'm working, and I'll look over there and I'll be like, oh shit, it's it increased by like 4 volts, like out of the blue.
Yeah. I mean, you see some fluctuations. I mean, frankly, every time I've measured it here, I don't pay that much attention to it here, because I know here it's relatively stable,
right
where I'm at. But I've seen down like at our factory, it fluctuate like 4 volts or something.
Interesting.
From time to time.
Porky Low End, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. Hey guys, since y'all did a run of cables, would y'all consider doing Tone Talk picks? Yeah, I don't know how I would do that though, to sell them. Is there like an online like design where you can design picks and then sell them?
Not really, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to ship them too. I mean, you pretty much have to mail them with a stamp if you're gonna do that. I mean, that's not that big of a deal, but
you have to buy them in like a pack of 100.
Yeah, or you could put packs of 10 or something, something like that. We can get picks done. That's easy. And get them done by Dunlop.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Huh. But yeah, but I would want it to be like automated to ship. Like I wouldn't be running out to the post office to mail out picks.
Yeah, that might be harder.
Yeah, that would be a pain in the ass. But speaking of
the time to dollar ratio is not.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah,
I would love to offer that, but I couldn't be doing it myself. So if there was like some online thing, like we could. I don't know. I'll look into it though. Thanks for the question. And speaking of cables, Vinny is definitely getting up and ready to do another run. He said, "Let's talk, and we'll do another run."
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll get that going. He had to redo his garage and stuff. So, GC Phoenix, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Now the cat's out of the bag, with the upcoming IRD pair well with a Variac LX2. What is unique about the custom transformers and the twin sister? Not sure I get that.
I mean, there's nothing that unique about the transformers and the twin sister. I mean, they're Marshall based transformers. It's like a 50 watt diagonal style transformer in that amp. Well, yeah, I mean, it should pair well with the LX2. Sure, I can't see why it wouldn't. Or one of the power stations, if you didn't need a stereo thing, it would work well with that. People love the IRXs through the Variac power stations. I know. Best to go into the return and switch it to the whatever's louder, the pedal level setting, essentially.
So I went ahead and got there's another thing I bought recently. I actually am using it as a Bluetooth speaker in my garage right now, but I figured I should just keep it. I bought a Headrush powered
monitor.
Yeah. And I figured, you know what, that would be a cool thing to hook up the IRX to it.
Oh, sure. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I might try that with like just a jam session with some guys.
Yeah, the head rush monitors are pretty good.
Yeah, and
small.
It's small. It's compact. Yeah. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh, we got John Wayne again. What's up, man? Thanks for the super chat, Dave. Can you discuss what equipment in a rack needs physical isolation? How far apart does it need to be? Should rack mount brown box and Furman power conditioners be separated too? Good question.
That's is dependent on what equipment you're talking about. So I can't. That's impossible to say. Physical isolation, as in rack space in between, or physical isolation, as in off the rail, because none of it should be off the rail. There's so much. There's so much to know about this, and it's so dependent on. Like for instance, your brown box and your Furman shouldn't matter. You should be able to keep it right next to each other. Wouldn't matter at all. So I would need a lot more information to be able to advise you on that stuff.
What's off the rail mean?
Like to not ground to the rail. I don't do anything like that anymore. So it's all grounded to the rail, and there's other ways to break ground loops and things between equipment and stuff. It's really sort of dependent on what you got going. I mean, certain things probably shouldn't sit on top of like a brown box, for instance. Like you wouldn't want to put a Syn 2 preamp on top of a brown box, because the brown box has a transformer in it, and it can radiate a field hum into the Syn 2 or some stuff like that. So there's some stuff to know, but without more info, I don't.
Right.
No idea how to advise you.
You'd have to get like a list of here's the equipment that I have in my rack now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, here's what I'm thinking,
Yeah. Well, John, maybe email Dave if you've got further questions. I know you sent some cash here, so I want you to feel like you can get your answer.
Yep.
Tobias Ryan. What's up, man? Hey guys, had a nightmare that my wife sold my JJ Jr. and Friedman 1x12 the other night. Woke up in a cold sweat. Any funny gear nightmares? I had a dream where I was playing a gig and I couldn't remember the solo, and I was just standing there like just looking at the audience like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And then I woke up. That was my dream. I was like, that was a nightmare. But no, never any gear nightmares.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, nothing off the top of my head that I can think of, but maybe there was something somewhere.
That would suck that your wife sold your JJ Jr. and your Friedman 1x12. Yep. Anybody else have any funny gear nightmares? Let us know. Quincy James, what's up? Good evening, guys. Dave, I thank you so much for the custom twin sister you built for me recently. It's been a dream come true. Any tips on preferred settings, clean, breakup, lead? What kind of custom twin sister?
I don't remember off the top of my head. It might have been a custom look or something we did. I don't remember. I don't totally remember. Preferred settings. I mean, I hate to say this. I mean, it's simple. It's really simple. It's like, how clean do you want it? How dirty do you want it? So that's the gain structure switch. And, when you set everything at 5, you're not going to, not the master necessarily, but when you set everything else at 5, you're kind of in the ballpark already. And from there, you just slight little tweaks, to the EQ. If you want on the twin sister, if you want the one channel to be really clean, you would use the center position on the gain structure switch, and you would probably turn the gain all the way down, the master really high, and then just pull on the gain for your volume, basically, and it would set it up all the way, clean at that point. So little things like that. Other than that, I think people have to use their ears,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because there's so much involved with that. It's like, well, what guitar are you using?
An experiment.
What cabinet are you using exactly? What, are you using other pedals? I mean, what's in front, there's so much to that.
Yeah. Yeah. It depends.
Yes, it depends.
It depends. Scotty Phoenix, what's up? Dave, thoughts on putting legs on your combos so you can tilt them back? Had a couple of Fenders over the years and always thought it was a cool idea.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, how do you do it well? Never really seen a way to do it really well, and the Fender way wasn't exactly that great.
What, with like those metal legs?
Yeah. It worked, but I don't know how to do that really well.
Yeah, or you just get a stand. That they make a stand that has a tilt.
Yeah.
So, I actually, if I was using a combo, I like tilting it back also, pointing it towards your ears as opposed to your feet.
Yeah.
Cars in Depth, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. Regarding Bluetooth, could the parent company sell Marshall branded stuff without making amps? They only make up 5% of their Marshall revenue. Is he talking about bad?
Sure. I mean, sure. No. It's the parent company that owns Marshall. He's talking about.
Okay.
At this point, that's almost what they're doing. So, yeah. I mean, play on their heritage and sell. They sell a lot of those Bluetooth amps. Or Bluetooth speakers. Sure. Could they? Sure. I think
it would be kind of, at some point, it would be dumb. It would make no sense.
It would be totally dumb at some point.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, let's talk about, we haven't talked about this. Maybe we did, but
did you see? There's more to that. Like, did you see the revenue of the company though? It's a huge.
No,
it was. I forgot. Don't quote me on this exactly, but it's like a $40 million company or something.
40 million?
Yeah, and 5% of it is amps.
Wow.
So there's a lot of those damn Bluetooth speakers sold.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
yeah. Well, and I also saw that Jason had a video at Head First, that video about those Vietnamese.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with those transformers though.
No,
they're fine. Yes, they're made overseas, but it's fine. Sounds fine.
What's that humming noise though that he was talking about?
Oh, that's the end bell. It's kind of a thin end bell, so if the transformer vibrates, it has a sympathetic sort of thing. That's not the greatest thing in the world, but yeah, you can get around it.
Okay, interesting. Christian Daniel, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Like and subscribe. Dave, did you ever see any Dr. Z amps used in Andy Brower's studio? Runt plus Vintage S are perfect together, in my opinion. Thanks. Oh, nice.
No, there were no Dr. Z amps then. Back in that time, didn't exist. So no.
That makes sense.
I mean, it did exist at some point in time. I don't know when that company started exactly.
I think you said like late 90s.
Yeah. So no, that was first of all, the company didn't exist then. So
yeah. Guys, just like Christian said, like and subscribe, please. Press subscribe and click the bell. There's over 300 people watching. Come on.
There we go.
All right. Let's get back into it. What else we got? Basile Tiffany. Thanks for the super chat. Could there be any advantage to building a pedal, a clon, for example, into an amp versus running one in front? This is always a question. I've always wondered, like, okay, isn't
any advantage? No, it's the same.
Or like it isn't like the diode clipping. That's like having a pedal in front, right?
No, well, it depends on which way it's done. Not exactly. No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, we could build it in. I mean, like the Mesa. Well, okay. So the Driftwood amps have a built-in tube screamer kind of circuit that you can kick in and out. The Mesa. What was it? The 3-channel amp that they did. The I don't remember what it's called. It was the newer 3-channel amp they had done, not in the rectifier series. That they had like a built-in like tube screamer like thing too that could kick in.
Anybody ever put a fuzz in an amp?
I'm sure someone has at some point in time. Off the top of my head, I don't know of any.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Quincy again. What's up, man? Thanks for answering our questions, guys. One more for you. Thoughts on 70s blackbacks? I'm thinking of adding one into a Bogner 212 paired with a V30.
Blackbacks sound awesome. So, I mean, but remember, vintage speakers, every single one sounds different. Even new speakers, every one sounds different. So sometimes there can be good ones and bad ones. So, but you could do that, and it does sound good.
Okay. I wonder where do you already have one, or are you looking for one on Reverb or something? Because you got to be careful.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find them.
Yeah, they're relatively available.
You can find them. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. What's y'all's opinion on Gibson Explorers? I've always loved the look and been thinking about grabbing one to have something different from my Les Paul. How different is it in comparison? I love a Gibson Explorer.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's super comfortable to play. Your arm just kind of rests on like that whole long bit of the guitar. It's like it's just a very comfortable. It sits comfortably. The only thing that I noticed a little bit with my Explorer is there's kind of a little bit of a neck dive.
Yeah.
But other than that, I love the Explorer. I also like a Star.
Yeah, I like the Star. You got a cool Star that you made.
Yeah, it's like right up.
Yeah.
There you see it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I like that guitar too. So yeah, I would grab one, definitely. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. In fact, I constantly look at ones because I kind of want one. And although all the ones I really want are way too much money.
Well, you want the Ibanez one, don't you?
Well, I would also take an old Hamer one too, but those are going for a lot of money too.
Yeah, they're in like the 6.
So yeah, and then I was looking at some like Japanese clones of them too that were cool, Grecos and like Bernies and things, which I wouldn't mind. But yeah, I've never bit the bullet. I need it like I need a hole in the head, really. I'd like to have it, but I don't really need it,
Yeah. Well, did I need another Wolfgang stealth?
No. And you never know. One day, if I see something, I might just did like you just did. I just go click and I might buy it,
I was like, I worked my ass off this week. Fuck it.
I mean, what I really want is an Ibanez one.
Yeah, but they're so hard to get.
But now the prices have escalated so high on those that just no, I'm not going to do it. And And I would also like an Ibanez of that same era, V. But those are also through the roof, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, get yourself an Explorer, man. Mike Scott 32. I'm the one. Yeah, yeah. That's definitely.
That's great.
That might have been number 3. Also, yeah. That's the guitar work on that is just insane. Okay, so here's a question: Mark or Dave or Sammy, right?
Okay, while you answer this question, the water is calling, so I have to hang on a second.
All right. So I've always been a Dave guy. Always. The first 6 albums were like just perfection to me. So, and when Dave left, I was kind of against the whole Sammy thing, to be honest with you. I didn't listen to the first out the 5150 when it came out. I actually went the Dave way and bought, what was it? Whatever, Just Like Paradise or whatever the album was. I can't remember it. But yeah, I bought that album when that came out. And with Steve Vai, and I was kind of into that. But I will tell you, over time, I have grown to like Sammy a lot better as a person and as a singer. So I actually I've come to really kind of despise Dave. He just really annoys the living shit out of me. So that's where I'm at with Dave and Lee Roth recently. He also had some really fucked up things to say about Wolfgang, which was like, what the fuck, man? Like, where is this guy? He's like on another planet, really. And I had heard some stories about Dave when he was doing his Vegas tour. What a dick he was. So I'm, Dave, our Dave Friedman. I know he's in the music industry, so he has to keep maybe PC. But I'm just like so sick of David Lee Roth now. I can't even look at him. But look, I love those albums back then, and it was classic, and I can watch it any day of the week, the videos and stuff. But David Lee Roth now is just like an embarrassment in my opinion. And I think Sammy's cool as shit. So I've grown to like Sammy a lot and listen to their stuff a lot too. So, any opinions on your behalf? Or?
Well, I mean, the original Van Halen for sure. Although there's a bunch of cool stuff in the Sammy era too that was cool. Yeah. So, and I think it was. Well, what was really apparent to me was, and also knowing the camp and everything, what was really apparent to me was how much of a role like David played in the songs and Sammy played in the songs. Because you had the same band, right? But the songs were not the same. You know what I mean? It was not the same kind of song. And also knowing what I know of the camp and stuff, it's like Ed was an amazing riff writer, right? But maybe not an amazing songwriter. The riffs were what he wrote, and how that got pulled together into their songs was between Ted Templeman and honing it down, and this is the way it happened, and David played a big part in early stuff, and Sammy played a big part in later stuff,
Yep. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I mean, when I listen to some songs, I don't even know how David Lee Roth came up with melodies.
Oh, I know. Those are pretty amazing.
Yeah, like if you just even think about Hot for Teacher.
Yeah.
Like how did he come up with just a melody over that? It's insane. Super talented guy, but he's just lost his fucking mind, in my opinion.
So, too much pot.
I don't know. Maybe he's had too many tattoos and the ink's gone to his brain. I'm not really sure, but he tattooed his whole like body, right?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, he like did like a whole thing.
Yeah, a long time ago in Japan.
Yeah,
Traditional style too.
traditional,
Yeah,
exactly, which is like that's hardcore.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, so this is an interesting comment. Guys are putting the hot mods not so much for the super extra gain available, but for the bloom some folks get or hear from the gain staging. However, yeah, some guys just like diamond the gain and no pedal. Yeah, yeah, I get that. I can get that from like kind of like that whole.
It's all too much gain. I don't give a shit. I mean, I think it's all too much gain. I think like I was listening back to this. You listen to these old Van Halen boots and stuff and different things, and there wasn't a lot of gain there, and you listen back. I listened to this thing recently of Steve Stevens with Billy Idol in 1987. That's on YouTube. That's just audio only. It's the whole concert. And he was old vintage Plexi Marshall 4-input Marshalls and into a kind of a Bradshaw rack and a stereo thing, and it's so much cleaner. It's so much cleaner, but there's so much power and balls and chewiness to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just better, And then I saw something recent. I think off the last Van Halen tour they did, and I'm like listening to these guitar tones on this old song, and I'm just like, man, it's like it's okay, but it's kind of thin and it's kind of not great, and it's just kind of buzzy, and there's too much gain, and there's no kind of power behind it. Less compression, less gains gives you more power. It will punch and hit you harder, so
yep,
that's my feeling on it. The hot mod's a great product, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think it should be in a super high gain amp. I think it should be in like a JSM 800 or JM or 2203 or something like that. That's what it's really made for.
Right.
Sounds great.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I put when I had one. I put it into a JCM 800.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah, very cool. Let's see. We had a nice comment from me. Mark, you do a great job. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mark, you, Dave, are Batman and Robin, the superheroes of tech talk. All right, I like that. Let's see.
I think there's a T-shirt in that somewhere.
Yeah, right. Oh man. Let's see where else. I'm scrolling down to see any of the questions. I think we got some. Oh yeah. Okay. Here we go. Steve Hubbard, what's up, man? When will we see John Sir back on the show? Always love the three of you together. P.S. Looking at grabbing an IRX as a backup solution for live. Yeah, we need to have John back on.
Yeah, it's always fun for sure. I wouldn't mind like revisiting like some other people too that we from long ago, like Fryette, for instance.
Yeah,
Stevie. Be nice to have him back on the show at some point in time. Just when it makes sense. Why not? Hey, checking in. What's going on new these days?
Especially if Stevie has something coming out.
He should come on. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Come on the show. And yeah, we'll get John back on the show. Definitely. I've been thinking about it because when I got a new Sir, I got the Pete Thorne model a few shows back, and that guitar is just awesome. So I'd like to praise him, shower some praise on him and the guitars that he makes because they make some great stuff.
Absolutely.
And also, would you believe that our top 3 show, like literally number 3 show, is Mike Torin and Michael Nielsen for the Rack Gear show, which is like I never would have. I mean,
the first one, what is the Jakey Lee one?
Jakey Lee,
yeah.
I'm not sure what number 2 is, but yeah, the Mike Torin and Nielsen. I never would have thought like a Rack Gear show would have topped the the list. But yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to have them back on for a part 2. So
Michael Thomann might not be able to sit in the same room with all this stuff.
There's no room. We could have a whole new show on all the gear he's acquired since the last show. So,
yeah.
Did you see what he did to your IRX?
Yeah, he rack mounted it.
Yeah,
I knew he was doing it,
and it worked.
Yeah,
he's handy.
Yeah, he's handy. Yeah, exactly.
Thomann is definitely handy. I could have never done that. No way.
He was in the chat here. Michael said, "Looks." I think it was when we were talking about the IRD. Looks like I'm expecting the rack unit.
Yeah. Patrick Miller, Dave, in the Sammy era, were the EVH rack effects coming through his cabs in the studio?
Okay. In the Sammy era early, when he got a Bradshaw rack and he was slaving I'm pretty sure on OU 812 and 5150, he was slaving the Marshall with a load resistor through the Bradshaw rack, and the Bradshaw rack cabinets were being mic'd up in the studio. I'm pretty sure that's what was happening. I don't know this for a fact, though. It sounds like it to me that he was using his rig in the studio. He did that later in life too, so it would make sense.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Harry Chakuvu, thanks for the super chat. Hey Dave, now that you're making the retro series, will we make a retro with the Jose mod in it? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, there could be a Richard Fortis Dr. Feelgood amp that we're going to do, that I have mentioned before, so it's no secret. That we are going to do, and I really have to get on that like now.
That'll fucking sell like mad.
I think it'd be cool. It'll be cool. Yeah. It's, it'll be expensive and it'll be a 100-watt amp, but be cool.
And are you going to do it like visually where it's going to look like almost the same, where like the not beat up, but like with the push pull?
I mean, it'll have some of that too, but I don't know if it'll be exactly the same visually as that. But it will have all the same features. Yeah, for sure.
So cool.
That's a conversation I have to have, and I owe him a phone call, so I need to do that soon.
Cool.
It's been a thought in the works for several years. So,
Ian Ferguson, Fractal would be cool. I watched so many of Leon Todd's videos, makes me kind of want one. Yeah, Leon's he uses the Fractal a lot, although he does use amps a lot as well. He'd be a great guest too. We need to have Leon on.
Yeah,
good guy. But yeah, let's definitely talk about that, Dave. Let's have a couple of modeler guests on.
Sure thing.
Mark, your money's no good here. Oh, well, you're the man. Thank you. John Gallagher, 2 hour, 4 hour, love it anyway. Darn good show. Thank you. Mark, where did your BE100 go? Still have it? Oh yeah, man.
It's right behind him.
Right there. I just block it. So
he's just sitting right in front of it.
Yeah. It's right there, man. And then I have I do wet, dry, wet. So there's another speaker right next to it. You can't see it. Well, there's a little 1x12 there, and then I have a 1x12 over there in the corner. So, and that's kind of how I'm running things these days. And I've got another cab right over there, but I'm not really using it. I use that for the rack. Like if I plug in my rack, I plug it into that. So, let's see. What else we got? Oh, Steve said, no, we've been on hiatus. Back soon, though. Have a good one. Okay, cool. Looking forward to you guys coming back with some shows. Oh, we got Serious Amplification here.
Hello, Alex.
Is he based in Australia?
Australia, yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about Sovtech valves? Are they still around?
Yeah, no, sure, it's still around, but getting
Russian tubes.
Getting that Russian tubes is kind of a pain in the ass, yeah. So, yes, no.
All right. Let's see.
There was a question in here about Vox output transformers too that I was just looking at.
Is that a super chat or?
It wasn't a super chat. It was Adam plant. I don't know how to say the last name. Planche, something like that. He says, Dave, can we talk about AC30 output transformers first? Vintage first. Woden or Albion or Hayden. They're all a little different. I would kind of it's a good question. I'm getting them confused now too, but I'm pretty sure the Woden ones are the ones I like a little bit more. They're similar though. I mean, a lot of them, they have some similar characteristics. Modern OT for a Vox field. That's a good question. Haber makes some that is really good. And so does even the Hammond ones are pretty good actually. They sound pretty good also. I'm doing a Vox build, so I am doing a little transformer shootout here shortly. So, we'll see what comes out on top.
James Brown, while he's working at EVH, I don't think James can come on. I did talk to him about that.
Oh yeah,
I asked him. And he said, I think he said like he can't do it while he's still working for EVH.
Oh, okay.
So, but that would be good. James was a great guest. Let's see. There was another one. Hang on. My bad. Quincy James, out of curiosity, since creation of the gel, I've been thinking on what's your take would have been on a Randy style amp or which Friedman comes close.
All right, I'm going to say this. I
don't like Randy's tone either.
I don't think I ever really cared for Randy's tone that much, although I've heard sometimes it sounding pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it really was a combination of so many things, like a distortion plus into a MXR 10-band EQ into the front of a Marshall that might have been cascaded or not. I'm not sure. There's some question on that. And then into Altec speakers. So the whole recipe is a strange one. So I'm not that big of a fan of his tone, to be honest. But I mean, I think there were some moments that was great, for sure.
Yeah, overall, I never was like, I mean, the playing is amazing. It's amazing playing, but the tone to me, like I compared it to like other guys, and it didn't stack up.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So, and if you don't agree, well,
it's okay.
It's okay. We can have a difference of an opinion.
I do agree that Jake had better tone.
I also think Jake was the best Alizé guitar player, but hey, that's me. And people will argue with you about that, but but several people I've noticed when I've said that in the past have agreed with me.
I think he's an amazing guitar player. My only question, truthfully, would be, and I mean, of course, Jake would probably punch me if I asked this, but how good would he have been if he didn't follow Randy? Like, because like Bark at the Moon is a very Randy Rhoads style. Like
it is
to me. Yeah. It's got that whole like galloping, kind of thing that Randy did on the first album, you know, like, so it kind of, I don't know, it's more technical, but I just kind of felt like it was in the Randy style. At least it's maybe I'm wrong.
I don't find that style like Randy at all.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
I don't know. Maybe
I never thought of it like that.
Huh. Okay. I wonder what other people think. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
Maybe I'm wrong.
It's fine.
It's possible.
Dave, cheers. What's all the stuff behind you right now?
Well, to my, I guess you guys are seeing it this way. To my right shoulder, there's two combos on the floor that belong to Incubus that are Mesa somethings. Mesa, what are they? Rectifier combos.
Wow, those must be.
They got the big, heavy, like EV style speakers in them, so they weigh like 10,000 pounds each.
Whose are those?
Incubus. Yeah. So there's that. There's some pedal board right behind that. I got my amps that are just always sitting there. And on the left-hand side, there's a big, huge, long row of fucking boxes for me to
start working
to deal with. You can't see it, but over my right shoulder, somewhere back there, you can't see it. It's beyond that box. There's two 5150 amps that are for repair for John Sykes. And there's all sorts of crap around here. So,
yep.
I hope to knock through a lot of this tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. See how many I can. It's a goal to see how many I can get done in a day.
How long does it typically take you to do? Like,
depends on what it is. I mean, some are repairs. So sometimes that's really simple. Sometimes you can whip through things fast.
Like 15 minutes, boom, you're done.
Well, maybe not that 15 minutes, but like 30 minutes or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question, Adam. Zabo Wabo, what's up, man? Thanks for your awesome show, gentlemen. Dave, difference between 6402s and blackjacks.
Blackjacks. Well, I know he misspelled it.
Oh, yeah. Blackbacks, he meant.
Yeah.
P.S. Sell me your vibe.
Yes, I know. That's a very good question. They just sound a little different. I mean, not all 6402s are, to be honest, I'm not absolutely positive the speakers I have in my cab are 6402 counts. I think they are because they're from the early 90s, so it probably is. Yeah, that's a good question. I've never directly compared the two. And again, every single speaker is different, so it's hard to do.
Right.
It really is impossible almost.
Okay. What's up, John? Thanks for all the questions tonight. What's the difference between clean channels in the SS100 V2 and BE50 Deluxe? And what about the SS channels versus the BE channels? Tube Screamer versus SD1?
Okay. Let's start with the clean channels. So, the clean channel is similar. So the EQ is exactly the same in both. On the BE Deluxe, the very front end of it is more Fendery than the SS one. The SS one, the very first tube stage of the clean channel, is a little cleaner, and it has a little more of a bass roll off in it, so it's not quite as boomy. But in general, they're similar. They're similar to Fender style circuits, but the front end components on the first tube stage are different in the SS one. and it runs a little cleaner even.
Okay. And the SS channel versus the BE channel.
And the SS channel versus the BE channel. So, I mean, there's definitely some similarities. The way I tweaked the SS, the newer SS V2, I tweaked it to be maybe slightly more aggressive than the BE. Also on that amp, maybe a little smoother, and the treble control is an audio taper pot, so the treble comes on much later, so it tends to sound at first a little richer because of that, but really it's not. It's just where the pot is. Just a percussively cool, smooth, sounding killer amp.
Okay, a tube screamer versus an SD1.
Man, those two are pretty close. SD1 might have a little more teeth and a little more gain.
And a little more bass, you think?
SD1 does not necessarily have more bass. Not at all. Maybe they tend to seem a little brighter, but they're still very void of bass. Yeah. But they're very similar. The circuit's very similar. The way the clipping's done is slightly different.
Thanks, John. Philip Asby, thanks for the super chat. Very much looking forward to the Vox build. What are you shooting for? Top boost, EF86, etc. 2024 or 2025? Thanks.
Top boost. Top boost for sure. And hell no, I'm never using an EF86 tube in anything. Too hard to get good ones. Nothing but microphonics. It's a mess. So no EF86 at all. I mean, for me, I'm shooting after my Vox, which is a copper top Vox with an added top boost circuit to it that Mark Sampson did years ago. So that's the tone benchmark, so to speak.
Okay. Thanks for the question. Dave, will you ever produce the BE100 again? Seems simpler.
It is simpler. I don't know. That's a very good question. If I were to ever make the BE100 again, per se, I would probably go back to the original one that had a simple clean channel in it. And although I might do it a little bit different, but if anything, I would do that, which is just simple.
Were the original BE100s with four input?
Well, no, but they were used. They were on a chassis that had 4 inputs, like an old Marshall. Yeah, but they were all custom and they were all different too.
Gotcha. Okay. Thomas Kinsthaler. Thanks, man. Dave, what do you think of Hughes and Kettner amps, like the Triamp or smaller Tubemeister series? Ever had one in your hands?
I mean, I remember the Triamp in the past. Tubemeister, I've never been around, I don't think. But the Triamp in the past, I thought it was, a reasonably cool, like, channel switching, multi-channel. It had a lot of channels. Sounded pretty good, actually. I thought the Triamp sounded pretty good. It's been a lot of years since I heard one, though. But it had some cool things about it, for sure. One thing that they should have never done is that the damn light up tube thing that they had going on, the neon tubes, because they always would break.
Interesting. I had a combo by them. I can't remember the name of the combo, but it was a very cool amp. Well built. I did eventually sell it. Like I sold a lot of things.
You tried it for a while and then
grew tired of it. I think it was around the time when I was gigging too, and it might not have matched what I was doing at the time.
Right.
I would watch a Mike Einziger tone talk.
That would be kind of cool. Yeah, for sure.
He's from Incubus, right?
Yeah. I might. Maybe I can get that. Maybe I could get that to happen. You can go through the text, I think. Maybe see if we can make that happen.
Oh, by the way, I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna try to video it. I don't know how good I'm gonna be. I don't have like a separate video camera, so I'm gonna do it with my phone. But I'm going to see Bruce and Jeff Pilson for Foreigner on Tuesday night. Yeah, April and I are driving up to Fort Myers. We got a hotel. We're going to spend the night there. We're having dinner before, and then we're going to go meet up with them. He hooked us up with VIP. So hopefully I asked him, and I'm going to email him on Sunday night. Maybe I can meet him up before the show and like take some video of like their rig before the show.
Yeah, sure.
So, and if I do that, I will post it to the channel.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, it's a good show.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. It's a really, really good show.
I can't wait.
Yeah, April. You're gonna be like, you're just gonna go, God, they sound good.
Awesome. I mean, I don't know how our seats are gonna be, but I assume they're gonna be really good because he said
probably.
Yeah, he's like, I'll hook you guys up. So I was like, oh, I can't wait. And it's in a small little venue too. It's like a amphitheater kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah. So
awesome. That'll be really good. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I know I did.
Oh, awesome. Did he just say that to Dave? What did I say to Dave? What that I asked him about his amps and I was questioning him? I don't know.
What?
I think earlier when I said to you, like, oh, are you sure about your amp? Okay. Dave, the Plex seems amazing. Amps the way they should be made. What do you think of adding a PPIMV to a 2204, 2203 to get the sweet power stage distortion?
I mean, you can do that, and it does work pretty well. There is some things about the PPIMV that is a little, you kind of lose your negative feedback loop, so the amp tends to get a little bit brighter, lower, and the presence isn't working anymore then. So there is some drawbacks to it. Like the new one that I put on the Plex amp, I kind of did it just to have it be there. How I think it really should be run is all the way up and maybe use, ideally use like a Fryette or something with it. I think, you then can incorporate an effects loop and things like that. And I think that's great. That's how I was doing it at NAMM. Because I wanted to add some delay, but you don't have to. And the PPIMV that I used is really good. But the one that I'm using tends to make the phase inverter even kind of overload a little more. So if you're trying to run that master really low and you're trying to get a cleaner tone out of the amp, it's not so much. It's gonna not so much do it very well. So you have to run it a little higher. But on the 20, I mean, a 2203 or 2204 circuit or JCM800 circuit, all the same, sounds really good cranked, because it's not very much gain by itself. And there's a big bright cap on the gain pot, so you always kind of want to run that gain pot around 6 to 7 range, because you want the effect of that peaker cap, they call it, or that bright cap that's on there, because it tightens it. Like this kind of circuit with the gain on 10 just sounds like flub. So you pull it back and then it gets you don't really lose gain, it adds cut to it all. But when you do that and then add power amp saturation by cranking the regular master up, it's really quite good. And you can kind of mimic that if you have a PPI MV on it and the other master, So you can kind of like crank that down some, and the other master maybe don't run it on 10. You can pull it back a little bit, and you can kind of get a balance. And it's a cool sound. Yeah, it's not bad.
Cool. Jeremy Redder, thanks for the super chat. Have a brown box. Is it dumb to use with your new Plex amp since that has a variable feature? No.
Well, I mean, it's good just to keep your wall voltage around 120-ish or 118-ish, somewhere in there. It's good for that. Sure.
I would agree. Interesting question here. Dave, you need to regroup and move to the East Coast. Taxes, I'm sure, are killing your ass.
Yeah, well, it's not so simple.
Yes. Definitely not simple.
Yeah, it's not a simple task. Boutique amps distribution is not moving. It's like 60,000 square feet of what? You're going to lose all your employees too.
I was going to say, how many people work?
How many people would want to move? And
yeah, it'll be a shit show.
Yeah, it's like 50 plus people.
Yeah. And then you have to find all those skilled workers somewhere else.
You have to retrain them, and it's like, oh God,
the cost alone and just that involved. Yeah, that's tough. But
it is true. It is, it is cost of living's high, so people want a lot of money to work. So it is true.
Yep. Rummy, thanks for the super chat. Dave and Mark, can you please suggest a Variac? What is a reliable and affordable?
Go to circuitspecialist.com, I think. Let me check that. Yes, circuitspecialist.com. And if you type in Variac, you will see several of them. And if you're just running one amp, actually, you could probably get away with two if they're smaller amps. You can get the 5 amp Variac. And there's a very cool one now that has the AC voltage on the screen and also the amps that you're drawing from it. So, and it's $78.79.
That's cheap.
Yep.
Coming from China.
Yeah, for sure. It's made in China.
Yeah.
Along with everything else in the world.
Yep. So these next two questions cracked the fuck out of me. Oh my God. Dave, you're from LA. What's the deal with the Gimp in Pulp Fiction? Like, he's kept locked up, but still seems kind of into it. Great show.
The Gimp in Pulp Fiction. Gimp in Pulp Fiction.
Did you see that movie?
Yeah, of course, but like, I'm not.
You're not picking. You know what the Gimp is?
No, not off the top of my.
That's the guy that they kept locked up. That was all in leather, and he had the ball in his mouth. And
oh yeah,
and then he ended up like squealing and screwing somebody else, some other guy.
Oh yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah.
What's the deal? I have no fucking idea.
That did happen in LA, right?
Yeah. And I'm not from here originally, so I take no. Yeah, I live here now, but not originally.
I have to say that scene in Pulp Fiction was disturbing. Like, it was like, I remember watching it and going, "Oh, this is fucked up." Like, it was definitely a messed up scene. Michael Nielsen with a very serious question. Dave, how many amp heads can I stack on top of each other before the bottom one goes splat?
Well, how many licks does it take to get to the bottom of a Tootsie Pop? That's a good question. I think you're pretty okay with quite a few. So
maybe 9 on top, adding to 10 could fuck something up.
Yeah, I don't know. That stuff's pretty strong. Yeah. Well, first of all, they'll fall before you stack that many up. So,
True.
I mean, you could stack 3 on top of 1. That's probably no problem. So, are you running out of room, Michael?
Okay. Matthew Whitley, what's up, man? Dave, any chance for a regular production gel 20 combo? Would you match it with a creamback or redback?
I mean, I've never done that, but technically I could. And I'm not sure why I've never chosen, because it's the same chassis size as, say, our Runt 20 combo.
Right.
So theoretically, I could use the same combo and just skin it in red and, with the white piping, black grill cloth. What speaker would I use in it? That's a good question. I'd have to listen to it. I'd have to re-listen to the speakers in those combos and see. Would I use? The first thing I would say is maybe a greenback. Actually, I might use in it. I don't know if I'd use a redback or not. I guess it would. I haven't listened to a redback in that size combo. I mean, in the smallest combo that we make, it might actually work really well in that small combo. It might be better than what we use in the Runt combos, which is the creamback. Because the nice thing about that speaker is it just has a lot of oomph behind it, and it's kind of rolled in the top end, so it's not too scratchy on the high end. And when you get little cabinets like that, they can get kind of a little scratchy and lacking in oomph and bass. So I don't know. I kind of want to do it now.
Yeah. I mean, there are people who just want to get a combo instead of a head.
We'll make some and do it.
Yeah. Sounds easy.
It's super easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Doc Matter, can we talk about the Bucks and Betty? You stopped making that, right?
Yes. So the power section of that amp, let me think about this for a second. So the power section of that amp was more sort of Marshall. So it had a presence and it was more of a 50-watt Marshall. And we used several different tubes over time. We used EL34s later. At first we used 6L6s. Kind of like the EL34s later, better. And the front end is the same front end I use in the B50 now. But it's like a Fender based circuit. So it's like a Fender based circuit with kind of a unique reverb into a Marshall power section. It was a cool amp. It was cool. It cost a lot of money. It was really loud. I think the price to volume ratio was a little much for people. It's a great sounding. It was an amazing amp with pedals, just amazing. So that's what I know.
Okay. All right. Paul Crane, just watched the Chris Shiflett interview by Lee Anderton. He briefly discussed using amps with the Foos versus using digital modeling while solo. Dave, what's his live rig like these days? He's still using the
amps. Yeah, his live rig is a massive, a big boy guitar rack with all the pedals in the rack now, and he uses 2 B100s in stereo and 2 Voxes in stereo. So it's 4 cabs. Yeah.
Vincent, what's up, my man? Dave, does it make sense to upgrade to the new Paralyzer 2 with its stereo ins versus the original model?
Not if you have no use for that. I mean, I wouldn't think you have a use for it. Most people don't.
Okay, let's see. Let me see if we have any more super chat questions. No. Scrolling through, we're getting to the end, guys.
Yeah, 159 Sound says, Dave, what are your thoughts on offset guitars? Ever find a jazz master that speaks to you? Yeah, for sure. I love guitars like that. Yeah. I saw a Jaguar that speak to me once. I almost bought it. It was a vintage one that was in candy apple red, and it was at my friend's store, Motor City Guitar. And I was like, oh man, look at that. That's amazing. I didn't want to spend $5,000 at the time.
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I've looked at Jazz Masters before. I've looked at Jaguars. I have not owned any.
Yeah. I've never owned one, but I have wanted one. I haven't done it. For a minute, Friedman was going to make one, but that kind of got never happened. Not to say that it couldn't.
Let's see.
I love old Mosrite guitars too. Those are cool looking.
Yeah. The clear ones?
No, Mosrite, not clear. That's Dan Armstrong.
Dan Armstrong,
yeah,
right.
Those are cool too.
Yeah.
I remember when you get all that stuff cheap. Not anymore.
I'm trying to see if there's any other questions.
Yeah, I'm looking through myself.
I think we're good. Dave, is there a 10-inch speaker you like?
I mean, I like the Greenback 10 kind of. You know, I think I haven't played with too many of them, but that's what we used to use when I had an amp that had a 10-inch speaker in
it. Is there a James Santiago Part 2 coming? Super chat lost in the shuffle. Did I miss a super chat? I'm sorry.
You could ask us again, send it, and we can find out.
James Santiago Part 2. Yeah, we'd have him, James, back on. Hey, Dave, why the creamback in the 1x12s with the vintage 30s and the 2x12s?
Creamback sounded better in the 112? I always do something for a reason, right? So, like, at the time when we were listening to speakers, the vintage 30s sounded great in the 212 cabinet. It wasn't that necessarily the 212, I absolutely loved the vintage 30s or not. It just worked in the cabinet to make it sound more like a 412 with a combo speakers in it. As far as the 112, I just liked how that speaker sounded better in that 112 cabinet.
Okay. Dave, how much would the Fortis amp cost?
I don't know that yet. So,
yep,
not sure yet.
Dave, will there be a small box upgrade anytime soon?
One never knows.
Did you see something else?
Randy Ward said, question, is an inductive power attenuator really better than a purely resistive one? Yeah, probably. It probably, the goal is to have it sound the same, as the amp into the cab, so you're probably going to get better results than just resistive. Yes, for sure.
See, it's so great when we have people looking out for me. Any updates on Mark's pedal board build out?
Yes, it's done.
It's done?
It's done. Got to pack it. But that's next week, and then I send it to Mark. And then Mark scratches his head and calls me and figures out how to use it.
Okay. You're going to do a video or no?
I
could just call
I guess I got to do the video. You can probably call me. We could probably do it on the phone.
All right, we'll do it on the phone.
Or the FaceTime or something.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, GC Phoenix, for looking out for me.
Yeah, see, someone said GC Phoenix said he bought a rack shelf from Fix using the link.
Well, good.
Dig it. Nice design, Dave. Thank you.
A question for Dave. What country stars do you know that use your amps?
That's a good question. Oh, well, there were a couple guys that used to, well, there was a guy that played with, who did Sean used to play with? Sean Tubbs?
Carrie Underwood?
Carrie Underwood. There was another guy in Carrie Underwood's band that used to use a Dirty Shirley. And as far, there's another one. Oh, I don't remember anything lately. There's a guy.
Keith Urban?
Keith has some Friedmans and has used them from time to time live. For sure. And there's another artist that just that I really liked, actually, and I'm trying to remember his name. And I can't. Never mind. I can't really. Not tons that I know of off the top of my head. I know there are some for sure out there. So.
Okay. Brad Paisley? No. Okay.
I have done work for Brad Paisley, but
how does the Fortis Mars amp sound compare to Headfields?
I mean, they're all kind of in the similar vein. These aren't the super gainy ones either. You know, they're less gain. They're more of the standard, you know, Jose sort of mod.
Fortis is also?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did he have the 3-in-1 thing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it had a couple little tweaks in it that were a little different. That would do some stuff for sure to how it sounds.
Okay. Here, we'll make this the last question for the night. Dave, is there a specific person at BAD that cools field tech service questions? Not that I need it, but the Saldano Facebook page admin, and the question comes up a lot.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, technically there is an email. I'm not sure. I'm not sure off the top of my head. It used to be one guy that was doing it, but then he's not there anymore. So I think it's a guy named Josh now. There might be another guy filling in customer service too now that is answering some of the questions. So I don't really know for sure. If you really have a specific question, you could potentially reach out to me and ask me. But please don't bombard me with it. It's not my brand.
Right.
But if something isn't getting answered or something, I could probably help out.
Okay. All right. Well, we're in the process of scheduling some next guests. We got Shay Monomyth, who's going to come on. Right?
Yeah, that should be fun.
And then we've got Andy Sneap that we're working on getting some dates, and then working on Andy Wood and some other folks. So we'll keep you posted.
I'm going to be traveling a little bit towards the end of this month, and then a little bit into April. So I'll be in and out. So we'll schedule the shows around when I'm available.
Absolutely. So I hope everybody has a great weekend. I hope you enjoyed the show. And again, please hit subscribe, click the bell, check out Sweetwater, our link, fixpedalboards.com and Thomann. And and also check out our social media. Look, Tone Talk.
Oh, someone asked any updates on the Plex. Yeah, it's coming. It'll be here in beginning of May. We're building them. Okay. We've started building them. So
awesome. All right. Well,
Yep.
So, all right, cool guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll be posting on our next shows. Take care, guys.
All right. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye-bye.